तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are in the conversations of 28th October 1882, and that was the semi-annual function celebration of the Brahma Samaj taking place in Veni Madhopal's spacious garden house in city. And we have come up to a point where, starting with the most negative tone, Thakur has turned the whole thing upside down. He has brought the conversation up to Nirvikal Samadhi, and then brought down and told the Brahmos that you are bhaktas, you are believing in an unspecified form, though you call it formless, but it is not the absolute Brahman, it is a Saguna Brahman. And so you are believing in the creation, preservation and destruction, and also singing his glories and his names. So all this depends upon the Saguna Brahma and your bhaktas. Then somebody wanted to know about Samadhi, and Thakur said, it cannot be done so quickly. Even to understand, you require patience and receptivity. And then he told that you should not talk so much about the God's glory or God's glamour. How God does this or how God does that should not be the concern of the devotee. If he is a devotee, he loves God, and he should know that God is the God of love. No other thing is necessary. So even to begin on the path of devotion, one's attention should be to love God. That is his theme. And so, end sentence was, dive deep in the sweetness of God's bliss. What need have we of his infinite creation and unlimited glory? What will you do with what he has created? We are concerned with God, the reality. And at this point, as was his habit, he burst in a song. Let me read the song in Bengali as usual. Dub 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 roop sagare amar mon, talatal patal khunjle pabire prem ratan dhan. Khuj 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 khujle pabi hriday maje vrindavan. Deep 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 gyaner bati জ্বলবে হৃদয় অনুক্ষণ, ড্যাং 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 ডাঙায় ডিঙ্গে চালায় আবার সে কোনজন, কবির বলে শোন 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 ভাবুক গুরুর শ্রীচরণ. The first point, let me tell you, even before reading the English, that the name Kubir appears. It is not the well-known Kabir at all. And this appears to be a baul song, baul, a method of song, and composed by a Bengali poet. And Kubir is different from Kabir. One should not confuse. Now in English I read, the master sang, dive deep, O mind, dive deep in the ocean of God's beauty. If you descend to the uttermost depths, there you will find the gem of love. Go, seek, O mind, go, seek Vrindavan in your heart, where with his loving devotees Sri Krishna sports eternally. Light up, O mind, light up this wisdom's shining lamp, and let it burn with steady flame unceasingly within your heart. Who is it that steers your boat across the solid earth? It is your Guru, says Kabir. Meditate on his holy feet. So, para by para, different ideas are there. First is that ocean of God's beauty. God's beauty. Rupa Sagare Amarman Du. Rupa means the God's different forms. And each form which God has taken as incarnation are the divine forms like Durga, Kali, etc. Or what the Brahmas are worshipping, the formless form or unspecified form. All of them, when they touch the experience, it is very, very, very beautiful. But one should not be satisfied with that. Through that form, he should proceed towards the reality of the person with that form. And there, that is what Thakur is telling. Doob, doob, doob. Go down, go down, go down. Dive deep, dive deep, dive deep. That means in the God's experience, one should lose oneself through the intoxication of love. It is not outside only doing some japa, some karma, this or that one will get God. So to get the experience of God, one has to dive deep in God's form or in one's own mind. So both he talks, dive deep in the God's blissful form. If you descend to the utmost depth, that means you touch the God's reality. There you will find the gem of love. So the Ratna or the gem of love will become fulfilled, or you will really be able to love God, or you will be really experience the love of God if you dive sufficiently deep, rather to the full depth of God's external beauty. So through the beauty of the God, you are attracted to God, but don't stop there. Go deep to find the reality of God. Through that very form, if you are absorbed in God, then you will go very deep. And when you go to the depth of the reality, then you will know what is love, both from your side, from God's side. Now, there is an allegory in the second stanza. Those who are not aware, I should repeat, Vrindavan is the place where Krishna used to take the cows for grazing. And the gopis all lived there. And there Ras Leela took place. Krishna manifested his love for all, love for those who love him. And this is a fact, a manifestation of the real nature of God. So, you need not go to Vrindavan today. If you enter your own heart, the seat of experiencing the love of God, you will find that God is eternally playing with you, and not only you, with all those who love Him. Within your heart, you will see. So, within your heart, if you go deep, so in the first stanza, we are told to go deep in the God's form. Now, we are told that all that you will find within your own heart. So, heart is the seat to experience God's love. And there, if you dive deep, you will find that God is eternally loving his devotees and eternally playing with them like he played with the gopis in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan name is taken because of the well-known example that he danced with the gopis in the pastures of Vrindavan. For that only that name is taken, but the same thing you will experience with you and like-minded devotees. If you enter your own heart, you will find there God is still dancing with you, loving you to the extreme and filling you with his love along with other devotees. Then the third stanza tells that this is not emotional love. This is an enlightened love. So the knowledge is also there. Knowledge of the nature of God is also there. As you approach him near and near, the more you will come to know the real nature of God. And so in the third stanza, light up, O mind, light up the wisdom's shining lamp. Wisdom is different from theoretical knowledge. So the word used is wisdom, Gyan. So the light of wisdom, that means the awareness of the God's real nature, that is wisdom. And your relation with him, that is wisdom. So that light up, that means keep awake with the knowledge of God's real nature. And then this love will succeed and you will go really deep and let it burn with steady flame. That means always the awareness of God's real nature should be there unceasingly within your heart. So in the heart, there should be the lamp of knowledge always burning, and with that, if you go deep, you will find the love of God. Then last stanza is little figurative, that taking the boat on the land. The meaning is that we feel this ocean and all that because of our ignorance. If the Guru's light is there, if the Guru is with you and his proper teaching, you will understand that it's a play. We need not be afraid of the ocean. So, figuratively, he says that who is it that steers your boat across the solid earth? Now, if this has some more mysterious depth of meaning, I am not aware. So, you can find out yourself. So, the meaning which appears to me is that it is not difficult or impossible once you know that there is no ocean where you can drown. It is very easy. If the Guru has given you wisdom, then Guru will carry you, your boat on the land itself, and you will go across and meditate on his holy feet. That is, on the Guru's holy feet. Guru's holy feet means be devoted to your Guru, and Guru will show you the way, show the lamp, and carry you across this non-ocean of the world. Sri Ramakrishna continued, it is also true that after the vision of God, the devotee desires to witness his Leela. That means I realize God is Nirgun, God is beyond everything, and I know that it is God's play which we call this universe. So God here is incarnation. And incarnation, when he plays in this world, is really something mysterious, wonderful, most beautiful, most loving. And so the devotee wants to experience that also. He's not just satisfied that I know God. I want to see God's play. This is the nature of a man of devotion. So Thakur gives an example there. It is also true that after the vision of God, the devotee desires to witness his Leela. After the destruction of Ravana at Rama's hands, we all know this story. Nikasha, Ravana's mother, began to run away for fear of her life. Lakshmana said to Rama, Revered brother, please explain this strange thing to me. This Nikasha is an old woman who has suffered a great deal from the loss of her many sons, and many sons, that is Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and his stepbrothers. And yet she is so afraid of losing her own life that she is taking to her heels. Rama made her come near, gave her assurance of safety, and asked her why she was running away. Nikasha answered, O Rama, I am able to witness all the Leela of yours because I am still alive. I want to live longer so that I may see the many more things you will do on this earth. All laughed because she was running for her life, but she colored it by saying that she wants to see Rama's Leela. And so people laugh. To Shivana, I like to see you. How can I live unless I see pure soul devotees? I feel as if they had been my friends in a former incarnation. This Thakur has said in a very simple way. He is aware, well aware, that man undergoes many incarnations and God takes many avatars. So for Thakur, old incarnation means some avatar. And there also this Shivanath might have been a devotee. And that Thakur says, I feel as if they had been my friends in a former incarnation, not directly about Shivanath or particularly about Shivanath. How can I live unless I see pure soul devotees? So the pure soul devotees are God's companions and they come with God every time. So he is talking in general about them, but as if including Shivanath. Now, a Brahmo devotee, we have seen that many of these devotees are not aware of these simple spiritual truths. And as I said, going to Brahma Samaj is simply a club life for them and some social reform and all that. So, this gives him what is called in Sanskrit Prashna Bij, the seed of a question. Because Thakur told, I feel I've seen them in previous incarnations. So a Brahmo devotee asked, Sir, do you believe in the reincarnation of the soul? Believe, not knowledge. So Thakur replies in the same way. He has told, previous incarnation I might have seen them. But when he asks, do you believe about incarnation? Then he comes down immediately so that that man may understand and says, Master, yes. How? They say there is something like that. Because people say, or the wise people say, or the scriptures say, so why I should not believe? He is telling that man how you can also believe. So he does not say, I have seen them. He says, people talk about that. How I can disbelieve that? When many people are talking, all of them are not imagining, they are seeing. So when they talk, why not you can also believe? Yes, they say there is something like that. How can we understand the ways of God through our small intellect? So spiritual truths are God's play. Our intellect is limited to this individual, which is Vyashti, which is a very, very minuscule item in this vast Leela. So the brain or the mind which feels this body I am is very small. And how can this think about the all-pervading nature, about the different plays of God? So you should start from faith. Because people who know are talking. So how you can disbelieve? Our mind cannot so-called reason, rationally find out the truth of all spiritual truths. And so the start of life should be faith in the scriptures, faith in what the wise people say. That is the lesson Thakur is telling him. It is not just question and answer. Yes, they say there is something like that. How can we understand the ways of God through our small intellects? Many people have spoken about reincarnation, therefore I cannot disbelieve it. Therefore you should not disbelieve it. So he does not say, I know all, because he has already said so. And the man from that has questioned about belief. So Thakur talks in the language of belief. And the cause of belief is that many people say so. Many people have spoken about reincarnation, therefore I cannot disbelieve it. Now, about how God plays. It comes from this reincarnation. In general, how God plays cannot be understood by the individual man. And so, he tells an incident. As Bhishma lay dying on his bed of arrows, this one should know a little that Bhishma had a boon that he will not die till he wills to die. So in the war, Arjuna hit him with so many arrows. Even the arrows crossed through Bhishma's body. And he fell down on the bed of arrows. But he did not die. So this is the situation. As Bhishma lay dying on his bed of arrows, the Pandava brothers and Krishna stood around him. They saw tears flowing from the eyes of the great hero. Arjuna said to Krishna, friend, how surprising it is. Even such a man as our grandsire, Bhishma, truthful, self-restrained, supremely wise, and one of the 8 Vasus speaks. So all these points you can understand. But the last point, one of the Vasus. We'll have to go back to some story. There are so many classes of gods. And one class of God is called Vasus. And there are 8 Vasus. And they are all filled with wisdom. But in the heaven, some mistake, some error happened by them. And so they were cursed to go down and be born as men. Now, they asked from redemption of the boon, which is not possible. But they said, we wish that the river Ganges, Mother Ganges, should be our mother. Because we are to be born on earth. And Ganges had a similar curse by somebody. So she was to come on earth. She accepted this. And there was a king, Shantanu. And then he fell in love with this Ganges. Ganges, in the human form, used to roam about near the flowing waters. And there Shantanu became attracted and he wanted to marry her. He does not have to seek permission from her father. She is a Devi. But she made one condition. She knew that the Ashtavasus are to be born of her. But why should they suffer? Why should they live longer as human beings? So she told that I will marry on the condition that what I do to my children, you should never question. So as soon as a son was born, she would take him and drown him in the river Ganges. So that much curse they served, being born as human beings from Mother Ganga. And then when they were drowned, that curse becomes over. They go back to their Vasu state in the heaven. So like that, she drowned 7 of her sons. And Vasus are 8. So when the last son was born, King said, I will not allow you to do this. I want a son. So, as soon as he is born, you'll have to give him to me. Then Ganga said, all right, if that is your wish, but you are breaking my condition. So she left the son in charge of Shantanu and went back to her own divine form. That is the story. So Bhishma is one of the Vasus, and he is almost all-knowing. He is very, very wise. So why is he weeping? Arjuna, suppose that he is weeping because he is going to die, or because he is suffering on the bed of horror. Friend, how surprising it is, even such a man as our grandsire, this grandsire also has to be explained. After Ganges went away, Shantanu was attracted by a fisherman's daughter, and he wanted to marry her. There, she has a father. So the father and daughter put a condition to Shantanu, because they know that Bhishma is a great warrior and great person, and he is a senior son, so automatically he will get the kingdom. So they made a condition that children born from this Satyavati, fisherman's daughter, Matsyagandha was her other name, should become the king. Then Shantanu gave up the idea of her marrying her. But Bhishma saw that my father is morose these days. So he found out the truth. And he went to the father of the daughter and said that I renounce any position which is coming to me. I will not be the king. I will make your son the king. Then she had another doubt. But my sons will not be great people like you. So even if you make them sit on the throne, who will guard the empire? Then Bhishma said, one more boon of course she has taken, that you will renounce, but if you marry, your sons will claim. Then he said, I will not marry, second vow. And then third thing is that you will, what happens to the kingdom? He said, I will always support this Hastinapur kingdom, whoever is the ruler. So these very difficult vows he took, and that is why he is called Bhishma. Otherwise his name was Devavrata. Now, this Satyavati had sons, and the
Vichitra Virya. Vichitra Virya and some Vichitra Virya.
No, they did not have issues. You know Niyoga? Anyway, so these Satyavati's son are Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidur.
Satyavati's grandson.
Vidur was Dasi's son.
No, Satyavati's grandson is Dhritarashtra Pandava.
Great grandson. They are calling him grandsire. They were great grandsons of Vishnu.
Great grandson.
So, sons of Bhishma or equivalent to sons of Bhishma are Satyavati's sons.
Bhishma is son of Satyavati. Bhishma is son of
Ganges. Bhishma is son of Ganges.
Yeah, but Bhishma is son of Shantanu. And Shantanu is married to Satyavati. So Bhishma is
Bhishma's, they are like Bhishma's son, stepsons. This Vichitra Virya and all that are like Bhishma's stepsons.
Stepbrother.
And their sons are Pandavas and Kaurava. So he is the grandsire. So that is how Bhishma is called the grandsire. Not his own children's children, but stepsons' children. So Arjuna calls him grandsire. Shri Krishna asked Bhishma about it. Bhishma replied, "O Krishna, you know very well that this is not the cause of my grief. Because Krishna is God, so is all-knower. I am thinking that there is no end to the Pandavas' sufferings, though God himself is their charioteer. A thought like this makes me feel that I have understood nothing of the ways of God, and so I weep." So that was the explanation, and Thakur has used to tell this, that we cannot understand God's play. It was about 8:30 when the evening worship began in the prayer hall. Soon the moon rose in the autumn sky and flooded the trees and creepers of the garden with its light. We are talking of the Kartik Purnima. After prayer, the devotees began to sing. Sri Ramakrishna was dancing, intoxicated with love of God. The Brahmo devotees danced around him, so all their nirakara and all that vanishes when Thakur dances. To the accompaniment of drums and cymbals, all appear to be in a very joyous mood due to Sri Ramakrishna's presence. The place echoed and re-echoed with God's holy name. That gave them the joy. When the music had stopped, Sri Ramakrishna prostrated himself on the ground. There is no deity there before whom Sri Ramakrishna is prostrating. He has prostrated in the ground. Means to the God who is all-pervading. And making salutations to the Divine Mother again and again, though there is no image there.
In his own room. This is in his own room.
No. It is in Benipal's garden house. Benipal's garden. In the Benipal's garden house, all this is going on, and they have taken. So, there, as the music stopped, then Thakur prostrated himself on the ground and making salutations to the Divine Mother again and again. And then he is telling something along with the Divine Mother. Bhagavata Bhakta Bhagavan. That is 1 in 3 forms. 1 in 3, 3 in 1. So they are not different. Bhagavata means the scripture which talks of God. Bhakta is his devotee and Bhagavan is the object of love. But they are not 3. Same consciousness appears in 3 forms. My salutations at the feet of the Jnanis, wherever they are, Jnanis. So that is what Thakur is doing. Remember, there is no image, there is no Jnani, and there is no Bhagavatam, and Thakur is talking like that. So the condition of his mind is that always he has the experience of all-pervading God. My salutations at the feet of the Jnanis, my salutations at the feet of the Bhaktas. I salute the Bhaktas who believe in God with form. So, God's different forms he has saluted. Now, Bhaktas he is saluting. Followers of God. Jnanis, Bhaktas, and within Bhaktas, I salute the Bhaktas who believe in God with form, and I salute the Bhaktas who believe in God without form. And my salutations at the feet of the modern Lords of Brahman of the Brahmo Samaj. They know Brahman very little, but that is Thakur's attitude. He sees the presence of God in everybody, especially those who are trying to go to God. And by this, he is inspiring them to go to God. Then the master and the devotees enjoyed a supper of delicious dishes which Beni Madhav, their host, had provided. So within the same chapter, named the master with the Brahmo devotees one, were entering another date. This celebration in Venimadhopal is over. That was October 28. And now we are going to November 15. And this is simply another wonderful Leela of Sri Ramakrishna. Sorry, 1 minute. 1 minute. Oh. No. No. Okay. Wednesday, November 15, 1882. Sri Ramakrishna, accompanied by Rakhal and several other devotees, came to Calcutta in a carriage and called for him at the school where he was teaching. So he had already taken permission and they wanted to go together to a circus. So he has come to that school. Then they all set out, including Master Masha, for the Maidan. Maidan, today you will not be able to see in its form. A very big ground in a very populous city. It was a wonder. Within such a big city, there is a Maidan means ground, and such a vast open ground. That was the beauty. And that ground was used for different purposes. I think the present Eden Garden is there. And Fort William is there. Some football grounds will be there. So like that it is broken now. And in that, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to see the Wilson Circus. So that was the popular circus in those days, and that taken some portion of the Maidan. As the carriage rolled along the crowded Chitpur road, his joy was very great. Like a little child, he leaned first out of this side of the carriage and then out of the other, talking to himself as if addressing the passers-by. As if he is talking to the passers-by, actually talking to himself, like a small boy, but he was observing. To him he said, I find the attention of the people fixed on earthly things. They are all rushing about for the sake of their stomachs. No one is thinking of God. So that is what Thakur observed in the streets of Calcutta. They arrived at the circus. Some people had told Thakur, you please come to this circus, you will see strange things. So he came. Tickets for the cheapest seats were purchased. Thakur told, we don't want some higher seats. The devotees took the master to a high gallery. You know these cheapest seats? Cricket ground, circus ground.
No.
The higher they are, the cheaper they are.
Oh.
Because they become little away from the ground. They cannot be vertically steep. They are like that. And so because they are like that, so the higher becomes cheaper. The devotees took the master to a high gallery and they all sat on a bench. He said joyfully, this is a good place. I can see the show well from here. So actually show can be seen nicely. There were exhibitions of various feats. Now, from a whole circus, only one feat is mentioned, because Thakur talked about that. There were exhibitions of various feats. A horse raced around a circular track, over which large iron rings were hung at intervals. The circus rider, an English woman, stood on one foot on the horse's back, and as the horse passed under the rings, she jumped through the rings, always alighting on one foot on the horse's back. This was the special feat which Thakur will mention. So only one feat Master Mahasaya mentioned. The horse raced around the entire circle, and the woman never missed the horse or lost her balance. When the circus was over, the master and the devotee stood outside in the field near the carriage. Waiting for go back, so carriage near. Green shawl. Yes, November 15, almost 3 days back today. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, "Did you see how that English woman stood on one foot on her horse while it ran like lightning? How difficult a feat that must be. She must have practiced a long time. The slightest carelessness and she would break her arms or legs. She might even be killed." Now he draws a parallel. One faces the same difficulty leading the life of a householder. A few succeed in it through the grace of God and as a result of their spiritual practice. But most people fail. Entering the world, they become more and more involved in it. They drown in worldliness and suffer the agonies of death. A few only, like Janaka, have succeeded through the power of their austerity in leading the spiritual life as householders. So he has not drawn that conclusion that so much practice is necessary to go to God. But he has drawn the conclusion that unless you are very careful, and for this carefulness you have to practice very hard, otherwise you will get drowned. Janaka, we have already known the example. Therefore, spiritual practice is extremely necessary, otherwise one cannot rightly live in the world. So you find they went to circus and so many feats are there and only one feat is mentioned because Thakur has used it to teach something. The master got into the carriage with the devotees and went to Balaram Bose's house. He was taken with his companions to the second floor. We have known Balaram also. It was evening and the lamps were lighted. The master described the feats he had seen at the circus. Feats, some other. Gradually other devotees gathered and soon he was engaged in spiritual talk with them. So, with the devotees. The conversation turned to the caste system. Sri Ramakrishna said, the caste system can be removed by one means only. And that is the love of God. Lovers of God do not belong to any caste. So this is Thakur's solution of giving up the troubles of the caste system or the ills of the class system. Love God, then you are in the same caste. And you know this has taken place?
Sikh?
No. Ramanuja Sampradaya, even Madhva Sampradaya, Mallabh Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya admits devotees of all castes. And there is no lower and higher. So if you ask them what is your caste, they will say we are Vaishnavas. So Thakur says this is the only way to remove this caste. We had an Andhra friend, a devotee, Vedanta here. What is your surname? Vaishnava. Okay. So this is what they teach. Though there are Iyengar and Iyengars are there, Brahmins are there, but all other castes have become Vaishnavas. The mind, body and soul of a man becomes purified through divine love. So duty, less or more purity you make this caste. Chaitanya and Nityananda scattered the name of Hari to everyone, starts from there, no caste, including the Pariya. In English, that is the name, Chandal. And embraced them all. A Brahmin without this love is no longer a Brahmin. And a Pariya with the love of God is no longer a Pariya. Through bhakti, an untouchable becomes pure and elevated. Speaking of householders entangled in worldliness, the master said, they are like this silkworm. They can come out of the cocoon of their worldly life if they wish, but they can't bear to, for they themselves have built the cocoon with great love and care. You know the insect inside the silk. He constructed that silk around him. And those people will take him out, throw him away, and use that silk for clothing. So they are called silkworms. But they can't bear to, for they themselves have built the cocoon with great love and care. So they die there. Or they are like the fish in a trap. They can come out of it by the way they enter, but they sport inside the trap with other fish and hear the sweet sound of the murmuring water and forget everything else. So how we are deluded in the world, that he is showing examples. They don't even make an effort to free themselves from the trap. The lisping of children is the murmur of the water. And the other fish as relatives and friends. Only one or two make good their escape by running away. They are the liberated souls. So he has given the example. The master then sang. Emni Mahamaya Maya, Rekhe Cheki Kuhak Kore, Brahma Vishnu Achaitanya, Jive Ki Janite Pare, Bil Kore Guni Pate, Min Pravesh Kore Tate, Gatayater Path Ache Tabu Min Palate Nare. Nare in Bengali, Na Pare. So, when such delusion wears the world through Mahamaya's spell, that Brahma is bereft of sense and Vishnu loses consciousness. That means they are also under the spell of Maya. Only Shiva is taken out because that is the song of the Shaktas. What hope is left for men? The narrow channel first is made and through the trap is set. But open though the passage lies, the fish, once safely through the gate, do not come out again. Trap. The silkworm patiently prepares its closely spun cocoon, yet even though a whale leads forth, encased within its own cocoon, the worm remains to die. So those two examples he had given, and he has sung them for the proper impression, deeper impression. The master continued, man may be likened to grain, another example. He has fallen between the millstone and is about to be crushed. grinding stone. Only the few grains that stay near the peg escape. Therefore, men should take refuge at the peg, that is to say, in God. God is the center around which the world is moving. And who remain stuck to God, they are not crushed. Therefore, men should take refuge at the peg, that is to say, in God. Call on Him, sing His name, then you will be free. Otherwise, you will be crushed by the king of death. You know a Hindi couplet on that? Kabir said, Chalti chakki dekh ke diya Kabira roy. He is seeing this as a grinding stone. Sky is one wheel, earth is one wheel. So, Chalti chakki dekh ke diya Kabira roy. Kabir weeps seeing this moving grinding stone. Dui pat bhitar aaye ke sabut bachana koi. The men coming between these two stones, nobody remains whole. To that, somebody has replied, Chalti chakki sabko hi dekhe, keel na dekhe koi. Everybody sees this moving, grinding wheel, but why do they not see the peg around which it is moving? In the Bhagavad Gita, Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mahama Maya Duratteya Mameva Ye Prapadante Mayamesham Tarantite. The master sang again. Podiye Bhavasagare Dube Ma Tanurtari Maya Jhada Moho Tufan Krame Vadego Shankari Eke Man Maji Hanadi Tahe Chojan Goyar Dadi Khub Atase Gie Die Padi Habudubu Khe Muri Benge Gelo Bhaktir Hal Shide Podlo Shraddhar Pal Tari Holo Manachal Upay ki kori Upay na dekhi ar Akinchana Bheves Sar Tarange diye satar Shri Durga Namer Bela Dari. Akinchan, it is the pen name of the poet. Akinchan literally means man without money. Mother, mother, my boat is sinking here in the ocean of this world. Fiercely the hurricane of delusions rages on every side. Clumsy is my helmsman, the mind. Stubborn my six oarsmen, the passions. So all figurative, allegorical. Into a pitiless wind, I sailed my boat and now it is sinking. Split is the rudder of devotion. Tattered is the sail of faith. Into my boat the waters are pouring. Tell me what shall I do? For with my failing eyes, alas, nothing but darkness do I see. Here in the waves I will swim, O mother, and cling to the raft of thy name. So this is a beautiful song, seeing despair, but hoping to catch mother's feet. Mr. Vishwas had been sitting in the room a long time. He now left. Okay. Vishwas is not surname here. Maybe Vishwas Babu. Anekhan বসিয়া ছিলেন এখন উঠিয়া গেলেন.
Looks like a surname.
Huh?
It's a surname.
Anyway, but he is not been introduced. Let us read, and then we shall find out if he is there. Mr. Vishwas had been sitting in the room a long time. He now left. He had once been wealthy, but had squandered everything in an immoral life. Finally, he had become indifferent to his wife and children. Referring to Mr. Vishwas, the master said, he is an unfortunate wretch. A householder has his duties to discharge, his debts to pay, his debt to the gods, his debt to his ancestors, his debt to the rishis, and his debt to wife and children. So what are these debts and how they are paid up? His debt to the gods, because it depends on the cosmic forces, so he has a debt. And that is repaid by worshipping gods every day. His debt to his ancestors. Without him, he could not have got the body. So there he has to do tarpan and shraddha, giving food and water in the name of the gods. His debt to the rishis, because rishis guide him. And how he pays the debt to the rishis? By spiritual practice, by following the advice of the rishis. And his debt to wife and children. Actually, Nru Yajna, Atithi Yajna, and Bhuta Yajna. But Thakur has brought it down to, if he is a householder, debt to the wife and children. What is the debt? If a wife is chaste, then her husband should support her. He should also bring up their children until they are of age. Only a monk must not save. Because he has not married, so he has not entered this debt at all. The bird and the monk do not provide for the morrow. But when a bird provides when it has young, that means when it has children who cannot fly, he brings food and gives to them. But even a bird provides when it has young, it brings food in its bill for its chicks. Balaram, Mr. Vishwas now wants to cultivate the company of holy people. Because Balaram is very soft in his mind. Master with a smile, a monk's master does not appreciate this idea. With a smile, a monk's commanderu goes to the 4 principal holy places with him, but it still tastes bitter. It is made from
Copper.
No. It is made of a fruit. Bitter gourd or something. Bitter gourd is small. That pumpkin, some shell, which is bitter in color. Now, bitter in taste. The water has not become bitter, but that shell is bitter. And sadhu goes to place of pilgrimage. So with him it is going, but it remains the same. Kamandalu, it is not tambura and all that. Kamandalu. Likewise, it is said that the Malaya breeze turns all trees into sandalwood, but there are a few exceptions, such as the cotton tree, the ashwatha, and the hog plum. These do not get that smell. Some frequent the company of holy men in order to smoke hemp. Many monks smoke it, and these householders stay with them, prepare the hemp, and partake of the prasad. Now, this was the old tradition in India. Many people do not like when they see the monks of the mission smoking. But smoking, of course, not hemp. Smoking has been a tradition of the monks. And hemp smoking also. These days, hemp smoking is hindered by the Naga sadhus. One of my friends, a brahmachari in one of these Naga sadhus' mutt, he told that when the time comes for smoking hemp, they told, tell the brahmachari, you go away now. They smoke. Anyway, so Thakur has used this simile. And householders, they move with them. They will prepare and get some prasad. So Thakur is meaning that Mr. Vishwas, who is seeking holy company, belongs to this group. He is not yet interested in spiritual life. Our time is over. We shall find out about this Mr. Vishwas and I will come, we will tell him the next time. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Viridhitam Kalma Shapaham Shravana Mangalam Shrimadatam Bhuvi Grunantiye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yesterday we finished without this.